here for the webinar on topic fire safety awareness. As we all know that our surrounding includes us in made up of 5 major ingredients such as air, water, land, space and fire. In our routine life, we perform lots of activities that includes fire. So it is of utmost importance to get trained how to manage the fire in any special conditions. With this objective, GTU has organized today's awareness session. Now, I request Professor Dr. Sailesh Panchal sir, Director GTU, Graduate School of Engineering and Technology, to kindly address the gathering with an introductory speech. Please, sir.
Namaskar, good morning. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Naveen Sheth sir, respected Registrar, Dr. K.N. Kher sir, today's our experts, Mr. Pushpendra Jala, who is the Director of Navid Electronics, Mr. Gagan Chobesia, who is a Research Engineer of NFire, our Estate Officer, Dr. Rajesh Thakur, and all dear participants, those who joined virtually in this particular webinar. As you know that GTU is always in a forefront to take any initiative, either it is in a technical domain or in a social domain. With this objective, today's fire safety seminar would be very fruitful for all of us. I extend my warmly welcome to all the experts, those who are coming from the NFire and Navid Electronics, to deliver their technical detail about the fire safety and precautionary measures. Our intention to save the life for each and every member of the society, specifically whenever any fire incident is occurring. And many of the times we are observing that the fire incident is happening just due to the lacking of awareness and some precautionary lapse. And that's why it is a unique initiative in today's session. Our expert will try to give the message about what kind of safety and precautionary we should have to take care, specifically in educational buildings as well as some public places. So with this remark, I again welcome all our experts and thank you for joining in such a large volume. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your esteemed words. Now, I would request our today's guest of honor, respected Dr. K.N. Kher, Registrar GTU, to present the welcome address to the gathering.
Good morning, everybody. Today's chief guest and our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Naveen Sheth sir, our respected Director, Graduate School of Engineering, Dr. Panchal sir, today's speakers, respected Pushpendra Singh Jala, Director, Navid Electronics, Mr. Ajit Singh Chauhan, Senior Manager Sales, Mr. Gagan Chobesia, Research Engineer, NFire, and our Estate Officer, Sri Rajesh Thakur sir, and all the participants who are virtually joined with us. Today's event is very important for us because in the current scenario, we have observed so many fire incidents becomes in the Gujarat state, and it's a very tremendous events or incidents that so many people have lost their lives due to some lacuna, some lapse of the procedure and some carelessness of the staff. Otherwise, we may, if there is a awareness with the staff, with the institute or any hospital, schools, we may उसको हम लोग ये अवॉइड भी कर सकते थे, लेकिन जो हम लोग अवॉइड नहीं कर सका क्योंकि हम लोग के पास जो फायर के लिए जो अवेयरनेस होनी चाहिए, हमारे स्टाफ को ट्रेन करना चाहिए, वो ट्रेन हम लोग अपने स्टाफ को नहीं कर सके. कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि फायर सेफ्टी सिस्टम लगाया नहीं है, ऐसा नहीं है, फायर सिस्टम है, पूरा खर्च भी किया है, पूरी सिस्टम इंस्टॉल करके रखी है, लेकिन हम लोग हमारे जो कर्मचारी है उसको पूरा अवेयर नहीं करने के लिए वजह से हम लोग फायर का ये होते हैं शिकार होते हैं और बहुत सारी प्रॉपर्टीज भी हमारी नाश होती है, बहुत सारे लाइव्स भी हम लोग ये लॉस्ट होते हैं। तो उसकी वजह से आज जीटीयू ने ये पहल की है कि भाई एक अवेयरनेस आनी चाहिए। हम लोग मेरी मतलब कि बिल्डिंग है तो उसमें हम वोटर के लिए पूरा इंतजाम करते हैं कि वोटर आता है कि नहीं, हवा अच्छी तरह से आती है कि नहीं, वो सब इंतजाम करते हैं। लेकिन ये पूरी प्रॉपर्टी है, एक गलती से तो पूरी प्रॉपर्टी का विनाश हो सकता है। उसके लिए हम लोग केयरलेस रहते हैं। कभी कभी रेसिडेंशियल एरिया में भी मेरी जो बहनें हैं या माताएं काम कर रही है, उसको भी कभी अवेयरनेस नहीं होती, तो गैस सिलेंडर फटने से, गैस का लीकेज होने से कभी कभी बहुत सारे फैमिली की ये होती है। तो उसके लिए आज जीटीयू ने पहल करके ये सेमिनार का आयोजन किया है। मुझे बहुत खुशी है, गर्व है कि आज 1000 से ज़्यादा लोग हमारे वेबएक्स माध्यम से हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं और फेसबुक लाइव पे भी बहुत सारे लोग हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं। मुझे पूरी आशा है कि ये वेबिनार से जो निवित इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स से और हमारे टुडेज एक्सपर्ट आए हैं, वो एक्सपर्ट जो हम लोग को डिलीवर करेंगे, उससे बहुत सारे हमारे जो अवेयरनेस है वो जागरूक होगी और वो हमारे लाइफ में भी उपयोगी भी होगी। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you, sir, for the insightful words. Now, with great pleasure, I request our today's chief guest, Professor Dr. Naveen Sheth, Honorable Vice Chancellor, to present an inaugural speech to the gathering. Please, sir.
Namaskar, good afternoon. Respected all dignitaries on the dais and all those who joined virtually in this important webinar. On behalf of the Gujarat Technological University, I heartily welcome all of you in this webinar. I am very glad that with a very short notice, the more than 4,000 registration were there, and many those who joined in this WebEx as well as the Facebook Live. The fire safety is very important topic. We have the rules, regulations since long, but it is taken casually. Just what is minimum requirement, we keep it, the cylinder and other thing. But whenever there is actual fire, they are not in use, they are expired, even the employees are not aware of the use of that. So that is the common thing. Means the whole matters, which is very important, but it is taken very, very casually. With a very small mistake sometimes, and the fire and it loss, with a property loss, a life loss, so many things happen. And we see that the children where there is a fire in the school, fire in the tuition class, fire in the college, so many things were happen. And that is by with a very small mistakes. So risk assessment, fire awareness, training, all such topics are most important. And now government is also taken a number of steps nowadays because of lot of incidents of fire. So being a GTU, the technical university, the largest university of the state, in this beginning of the new academic year, all faculties, all students should be aware of all these things. And luckily we have today the experts, they are from a company. The company has the connection, international connection. So such a reputed company and their experts are there from that company are here with us. So definitely this fire safety webinar is most useful. My humble request that all those who join in this webinar, so you attend fully, means you heard this, all the three speakers, and definitely it will be a good for future of our institute, for our students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Your visionary words always motivate all of us to work in a causeful direction and manner. Now, I would request our today's expert, Mr. Ajit Singh Chauhan, Senior Sales Manager and Fire, address the gathering with the fire safety awareness session.
A very good afternoon to everyone. I am Ajit from ANFIRE. We will be presenting a webinar on fire safety awareness. In today's presentation, our main focus will be to help you understand fire risk and how to build an effective fire strategy for educational premises. First of all, I would like to offer my thanks to Honorable Vice Chancellor of GTU, Dr. Naveen Seth sir, Dr. K.N. Kher sir, Registrar of GTU, Dr. S.D. Panchal sir, and Ragesh Thakur sir, to taking this initiative for this fire safety awareness webinar to create fire safety environment. Now I would like to tell you something about us. We are from ANFIRE. ANFIRE is the revolutionary wireless addressable fire alarm system designed, developed, and manufactured in India by Nivid Electronics. Nivid is a part of Nivid Group UK. ANFIRE is the revolutionary product. We have nearly a decade of experience to providing safety solutions across the world. Our presence in India is a part of Vibrant Gujarat MOU signed with Government of Gujarat in 2013. Some of our prestigious clients, Indian Army, Indian Railways, Reliance, SBI, Coca-Cola, and MS University. Our expertise through our director, we are active voting members of NFPA. NFPA is the largest organization for fire safety norms across the world, based in US. NFPA defines fire safety norms for US. Now, I would like to hand over the presentation to our director and NFPA member, Mr. Pushpan Singh Jhala.
Thank you, Ajit. Right. I think there is a delay. Yes. So we'll be presenting today's, as it has been said, that today's focus is on fire safety awareness. So when we talk about fire safety, the first thing which we should understand is what is the importance of having fire safety. We all understand that we need to safeguard against fire, but what is fire safety? See, first we have to understand a basic concept: fire kills. If there is somebody who has been unfortunate enough to be a part of a fire incident, they will not only face flames and hot air, but they will also face critical secondary causes of mortality, which is caused due to smoke inhalation. In fact, smoke inhalation is the biggest cause of death whenever there is a fire incident. What happens when a fire happens? It causes a huge damage to the property. Once there is a fire on a property, if somebody has an unfortunate incidence of fire on their property, the property is entirely destroyed. You have to build it up from ground up. Other thing which happens is when people are stuck in a fire situation, another secondary cause is lack of oxygen. Fire eats oxygen. When fire starts eating oxygen, somebody who is trapped in a fire incident will have no oxygen, and that will cause their death. Another thing which happens when you are stuck in a fire incident, you may not be near a flame, but if you have fire all around you, all your fire escape routes are gone because there would be debris. You would not be able to come out of that situation, and you will ultimately die of either suffocation or smoke inhalation. So fire safety, we have to understand, is very important. Fire is not something that happens to somebody else. It is something which is present with us every day. We live with fire. Thousands of years since human beings have become sentient beings, from a caveman till today, we work with fire. We need to understand fire and the importance of fire safety, because we are with fire always. So with that, I would like to take you through the nature of fire. See, to understand fire safety, first of all, we need to understand fire. If we do not understand fire, we can never understand fire safety. That is a basic principle. We think that we know fire. Fire is that something we light or gets lighted by accident, and then we see flames. That is fire. No. Fire incidences don't just happen straight away. Whenever we see fire, big blazing flames, we see on televisions in fire incidences, the fire hasn't happened at that moment. There were stages which took place for fire to reach to that level. So what I would like to first introduce you to is the stages of fire. How does a fire incident become a real big problem? See, when a fire starts, that first phase of fire, which is 0 to 6 minutes, at that time the fire is a very small fire. It is not dangerous. And say, even if there is a spark, or if there is a accidental lighting of any material which starts burning, it doesn't start burning very fast unless it's a petroleum fuel or something. It always starts small. And that 0 to 6 minutes is a time where you can arrest the fire. This is a critical window for fire. If you don't understand this, then it's a problem. If you can arrest fire in 0 to 6 minutes, if you are able to detect fire in 0 to 6 minutes, then you can easily overcome fire and there will be zero loss of life. Now what happens after 6 minutes? When the fire crosses 6 minutes, it starts becoming dangerous because fire grows exponentially. It does not grow linearly, it grows exponentially. So if you leave fire unattended, undetected, what happens after 6 minutes? The fire starts becoming really a fire. Before that, it is a small spark or a small burning somewhere. It is not dangerous. But after 6 minutes, it starts becoming threatening. But even at this stage, if you are able to detect fire, there is a possibility to use all the equipment like extinguisher, hose or something to control the fire. But at this stage, you will have certain level, you will start seeing certain casualties, maybe due to primary exposure to flames or secondary reasons like smoke inhalation, suffocation, something like that. 6 minutes is when it starts becoming dangerous. If the fire is undetected and reaches 10 to 12 minutes mark, that is at point where the fire becomes uncontrollable. It is impossible. Scientifically, it has been proved that it is impossible that if a fire reaches 12 minutes mark, no in-house fire equipment can control that fire. You will have to order fire tenders from fire brigade, multiple tenders to come and start arresting the fire. This is the point where we see highest casualties because people will be trapped inside the building. You cannot control by any means you have highest casualties. All the incidences we generally see on the television, when you have those flaming buildings, those are the fires which were not detected for 12 minutes. And when you don't detect fire for 12 minutes, this is where you start seeing heavy casualties. And this is what we must avoid. And this is the bedrock of understanding fire safety. If you do not understand stages of fire, you can never define fire safety. So 0 to 6 minutes, the golden period of fire safety. You detect fire at that point, you can ensure that there is no loss of life. Now moving ahead from here, we'll go to the next slide. Right, now see, I've just talked about importance of fire safety and stages of fire. Now, in contrast to this, let us look at what is happening in terms of fire incidences in India. In India, unfortunately, we are having minimum of 35 deaths every day due to fire. And between 2015 and 2018, which is the official record from the government, which is available, more than 60,000 lives in India were lost to fire. This is unacceptable. This is unacceptable for such a developed country as India to lose so many people to fire, when this can be easily avoidable. But then why are we not avoiding it? What is the reason why we are having so many deaths and so many incidences of fire? The reason is we have a very casual approach towards fire safety. And it is us as Indians, we are always God-believing people. It is a good thing, but we always think accident happens to somebody else. Accident never happens to us. It always happens to somebody else, till it happens to us. So that is our biggest problem. We need to change our mindset, right? Because it is our life. We are playing with our life. This is our biggest problem. Even in COVID, we think everybody else has to wear a mask. We don't need one. So it is our approach towards any dangerous incidents. We think it happens to somebody else. We can't have casual approach to fire. We live with fire day in and day out. Second thing is, our fire safety solution is what? Put an extinguisher, put a hose. No, that is not a solution, because that cannot work until unless you know there is a fire. Because by the time you know there is a fire, those things have become irrelevant. A, the time has passed. B, you do not have the training. So how would you use that equipment? So the biggest problem is our fires are reported late in 100% of cases. Whenever, as I told you in that stages of fire, whenever we see a huge burning building, so you have to automatically understand 12 minutes have passed. Now there is no point on using an extinguisher or hose, because it is immaterial. Even if you are standing with a fire extinguisher, you can't save yourself. And the reason is we have very poor detection in India. Literally, we have no detection. This is a very big problem in India. We need to change our mindset. We need to look at fire safety from a holistic point of view. It is not a knee-jerk reaction that we take two extinguishers, we put it in a building and fire safety is done. No, it doesn't work like that. We need to understand fire and we need to create a holistic approach. And that is our whole idea and focus for today, and how we can do it for educational premises. Now, what are the global norms saying? See, fire safety is a very matured concept when it comes to very developed economies or Western world. NFPA, which is the largest organization for fire safety, which does very advanced research, which is the body which defines all the fire safety norms for the country of USA. The EU, European Union, and British standards are the most advanced standards in the world when it comes to fire safety. And what are they saying? What are they focusing? What do they see the future of fire safety? How should organizations or countries develop their fire strategy? What is their focus? Their focus for any fire strategy, the fundamental focus is prevention of loss of life. Because buildings can be ultimately made, but lives cannot be replaced. Fire can devastate lives. We have seen that in Surat. When so many kids lost their life, their parents' life were completely destroyed. So fire can destroy entire families. So whole focus of the global norms is prevention of loss of life. Any strategy built around fire safety should focus on prevention of loss of life. Second is protection of property. Critical infrastructure is also required, like educational institutions. They serve a very, very important social need. No education can happen without an education premises. This is where the future of the country is molded. You need this infrastructure. So next is protection of property. And how are they going about it? They are going by better planning and training. Better planning of evacuation, better planning of safety system, better planning of hazards, and better systems, new technology being implemented, which can help combat or detect fire earlier, and better training given to those who are handling these systems. So better focus of the norms or whatever your fire safety strategy is should be prevention of loss of life. Secondary is protection of your property. And this is done through better planning and better training and having better technology. This is what the whole world is moving towards. This is what the global norms on fire safety are moving towards. Now today's focus of the webinar is fire risk in educational premises. So why is this important? Yes, educational premises particularly have a very typical set of challenges. First of all, in any educational institute, there is a high population density compared to an office building or a residential premises. There are in a closed area, you have a lot of people, a lot of students, a lot of faculties, a lot of staff. So you have a high density of population. So there is a higher risk to life. Now, when that happens, if you do not have a proper fire strategy, what happens? There would be secondary causes like stampede, suffocation, smoke inhalation. That becomes exponentially dangerous, and you can have more loss of life. Again, this is what we saw in terms of fire incidences like in Surat and other hospital fires which we are seeing. Because again, even in hospitals, there is a higher population density. And the third thing which happens is there is an infrastructure loss. Educational institutes have a lot of critical infrastructure in terms of data centers, record rooms, laboratories. This is very costly infrastructure, very hard to replace. And while that infrastructure is being replaced, a lot of students and other people would suffer. So educational premises need to be protected, and need to be protected because it has a very high level of population and very critical records are being stored there. So it should be taken with a very, very open mindset. So now we have seen what are the risks. What I'm going to take you through today is how does an educational institution create an effective fire strategy? That is what my focus is going to be. How can the management or the fire committee in an educational institution create an effective fire protection strategy? And that is how I'm going to take you through. And whatever I'm going to take you through are the best practices employed globally by NAFPA, by EU, or by the British standards. The first step which you need to take while building a fire strategy is you need to identify the fire hazards in your premise. That is the first step. Because fire, how do you identify a fire hazard? There is a famous triangle which is scientifically accepted globally, that fire needs three things. Fire hazard is created by a combination of three things: a source of ignition, the source of fuel, and source of oxygen. Now, oxygen is plentifully available in the air. So there is obviously one part is definitely always available until unless you are in a vacuum environment. But the other two things, source of ignition and source of fuel. Now, somebody might say, I'm not going to put a matchbox next to a kerosene. Yes, understood, that's common sense. Or I'm not going to put a burning coal on a wood because source of ignition and source of fuel. No, but you may have scenarios. For example, let us take a record room full of papers and you have high powered electrical appliances in that room which has high voltage running through them, and a spark would be a source of ignition, and you have a source of fuel which is all this dry paper of records being there. If you kept them in one room, you have a fire hazard on your hands. So what you need to do is go around your premise, find out what are your fire hazards. Common fire hazards found in educational institutes are wooden furniture, cafeterias, laboratories. You have heavy electrical connections somewhere. Data centers, again, a very big cause of fire. So these are the common causes, but you will have to go through your premise, identify and note the fire hazards on your premises. Once you have done that, record them. That is your first step. Once you have recorded your fire hazards, what do you do next? You need to identify people at risk. Who are the people who are at risk in the premises? People who are in the premises and who may be around the premises. Because see, when the fire starts, it is like a big campfire. If you are near the fire also, it will affect you. So who are the people who are within the premises and who are surrounding the premises, and who are these people who are more at risk? So who are more at risk? Who are the people? These are the people who are interacting more with a fire hazard. So for example, people working in laboratories. Now they are exposed more to fire hazard. It is something which you cannot avoid, but they are there. You need to identify and record that, because then you can build a strategy to overcome that problem. Now, in an educational institution, let us consider what kind of people you will find. You will find students, you will find staff and faculty. You may have contracting staff and you may have visitors. Now, all these people are important. When they are on your premises, you want them to be safe. You don't want them to suffer if there is a fire incident. So record down what kind of people you get on your premises. And this would be, these two, for identifying fire hazards and identifying people at risk, are the first two building blocks of your fire strategy. Once you have done this, what you need to do now is evaluate, remove, reduce, and protect from risk. What do you evaluate? You evaluate the fire hazards. Where is the risk of fire happening? Like again, I'll go back to that example of that record room, which had a lot of paper and a lot of high powered appliances. You identified this is a major fire hazard. Right? So identify categories of fire hazards which are there in the building. Find out which is a higher degree of fire hazard, which is a lower degree of fire hazard. Evaluate each fire hazard which you have recorded, so that you can then work on either removing that hazard or reducing the problem which would be occurring due to that. Then evaluate the people at risk from fire. Like again, the example I gave, that people who are in laboratories, people who are working in cafeteria. Now, these people are more at risk than the people who might be just sitting in the classrooms. But again, you can't see like that. You have to think more openly. People are sitting in classroom, wooden furniture, less problem with fire. But if there are, it would be a higher problem when it comes to secondary risk. Because there are, whenever you would have fire, people would try to rush out of the building. And that time, that would become a higher risk. So people are more at risk there. So you would need a strategy how to deal with such problems. So what do you do after that? You look at removing or reducing fire hazards. Again, going back to our example of that record room where you have papers and electrical appliances. If possible, remove those high-powered electrical appliances from that record room. Remove the risk. Best case scenario. Then you have ensured that there will be no fire incidents which has happened due to neglect. That is very important. Now, say for example, it is not possible to remove that appliances for them because due to whatever electrical reasons or infrastructure reasons, then what you should do is reduce the risk. How do you reduce the risk? You should put a fire retardant partition between the fuel and the source of ignition. That way you have cut the fire risk and insulate all your points of spark, means all your electrical outlets should be well insulated. Then what you have done is you reduce the fire risk from happening there. Wherever possible, remove the risk. Wherever not possible, definitely reduce the risk. That is important. Again, now the next point is remove or reduce risk to people. Now, so again, if you had some person sitting there in this high hazardous area, can you move them from there? Somebody might be working in the record room right in middle of this fuel and source of ignition. Can you move their desk out of there? Then you have reduced or removed them from problem area and you have removed the risk to that person. Else, if you can't do that, reduce the risk. Like people who are working in laboratories, you would have staff and faculties working in laboratories. You would have students who would be working in laboratories. Now, you can't remove the risk. You can't remove even the fire hazard. So what you do? Whenever it is an unsupervised area, you ensure that your fuel and your source of ignition are away from each other. So your storage planning of whatever chemicals or whatever flammable material you have is kept away and your source of ignition is kept away. There is a sufficient separation. So you reduce unsupervised risk there and you have reduced the risk to the people who are working in that environment. So that should be important. Now see, whatever I have mentioned, we take this very casually. But understand, if you really want to reduce fire risk, if you really want to eliminate or have the best fire safety strategy, these steps are fundamentally important. to evaluate risk and to reduce or remove risk. If you don't do this, everything else is useless. Just by putting in fighting equipment is not an answer. First is reduce the risk. That is important. Like having an airbag is, yes, important in a car, but driving safely is the first thing. You know, just because I have an airbag, I start driving like a mad person is not going to save me. It might kill 4 other people. So this is also like that. You have to have first a basic strategy in place, and then you go to the next level. Now, what is that? After you have done all this still does not ensure that there will be no fire incidents, but this would reduce your possibility of having a fire by up to 70%. But what do we do for the 30%? You don't want any casualty. You want to prevent the loss of life. So what do you do? First thing you need is a detection and a warning system like a fire alarm system. Why this is important? And this is very important because 0 to 6 minutes, the stage of fire, if you can know that there is a fire in as early as possible, you can arrest the fire as early as possible. You can evacuate people from danger zone as early as possible. So for that to happen, that can only happen by only one means, that is by detection and a warning system. So have a good detection and a warning system installed. Then have firefighting system installed. So detection is one part. Then you should also have good firefighting equipment like extinguisher, hose, and other equipment like sprinklers probably installed. And training should be given on all these things. Then have well-defined fire escape routes. This is again an ignored thing in India that we do not have escape routes planned. See, there is a large premises and you have even higher density of people. There are thousands of people at any given time when the educational institution is working fully. You need the people to go out of the building before the fire becomes dangerous. Because our first priority is what? To prevent the loss of life. So you should have proper escape route planned where the people can go out of the building in shortest possible time on the shortest route possible. And this whole route should be signed properly. There should be notices put on every exit that this is the route to go out of the building faster. Because there might be people who are not regularly in that area and suddenly you have a visitor or somebody who is not working in that area is in that area and their fire alarm goes off. It would create panic. What you want is there should be clear direction on how to guide them out of the building safely. So that is what you should do. This would become the meat of your entire fire strategy. This is how you create a holistic fire safety plan for any premises, and especially for high footfall premises or where the population density is high, like educational premises. So we have done everything, we have installed everything. What do you do next? See, important thing is record, plan, inform, instruct, and train. That is the next step. Means whatever findings you had, whatever you are doing, record everything. Write it down. If it is in your mind, it is of no use. Because here, fire strategy only works if it's an inclusive process. You need to record everything. There should be a very standardized thing where you record all the fire-related fire hazards, people at risk, what your plan is, and prepare an emergency plan. Emergency plan must be written down very specifically like an SOP. Because there is a very famous saying in English, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So if you do not have a properly well-defined emergency plan, what will happen is whenever there is a fire, there will be a panic situation, there will be a fear situation, and whatever safeguards you had put in for fire safety will go all out of window. And as our honorable chief guest had mentioned, that even though we have fire equipment installed, still we see that there is a higher fatality of people. Why is that? Because we do not have plans in place which are well documented and well written down. This is a very important thing. In fact, in Western world, this is a very much a compliance issue. If you do not have one, they will seal your premise. So this is very important. Now, once you have written down everything, what do you do next? Inform and instruct relevant people. All your stakeholders should know. They should coordinate and cooperate with each other. Now, who are your stakeholders? Stakeholders would be students, staff, faculty, And you should have a defined or appointed fire safety marshal for your premise. And you should create a fire committee out of stakeholders, which could include students, which could have faculty, staff, and management, so that everybody is aware of what should be done in a fire scenario. See, you are dealing with a lot of people, and these people need to be trained. So what happens is train, and train again. Then whenever there is fire, people will immediately know what they have to do in this situation. Say if you had 90% of such people on your premises who knew what to do when there is a fire incident, then they could easily help and guide those 10 or 20% people who do not know what to do in a fire incident, and that will ensure that there is zero casualty of life. And that is our fundamental. So that, what should you do? You should appoint fire safety marshals. You should create a fire committee, and that fire committee can have volunteers, fire safety marshals who could help and the management in implementing any viable fire safety plan or an emergency plan. You should conduct drills and regular trainings. That is very paramount. So now what happens after this? You have put into place a plan. And then do we all forget? No. Then comes the most important and the final stage of your fire safety strategy to work is you need a proper maintenance review of your fire safety equipment. Because what happens if you have an extinguisher, you identified a fire. First of all, your fire alarm system, does it work or doesn't work? Because most of the cases in India, the management said that fire safety is a problem. We had everything, but it did not work. So you need maintenance. And fire safety committee should assess this maintenance and you should log everything. So review is very important. So don't forget to review because your plan should remain current. Next, what we should see. So based on, see, these are the steps which are globally accepted to create a fire strategy. So based on all these steps which I just described, what would be a fire safety strategy for an educational premise? You need an early detection system. You need well-marked fire escape plans. You need voluntary fire safety marshals or appointed fire safety marshals. You need emergency lighting. You need proper maintenance of all your equipment, and you need to have proper fire drills. If you have this, then you will have a very cohesive fire safety strategy for an educational premises. So what we say is a fire safety ring: evaluate risk, early detection system, fire escape plan, and fire safety. If you have this in place, your fire safety is sorted. Now I'd like to just briefly tell you about fire escape plans. See, because we understand extinguisher, we understand fire hoses and fire rails, but what are fire escape plans? Fire escape plans are the plans which are written down and made based on the design of your premises. They show that at what point you are and what is the shortest way out of the building, and you should designate, assembly areas. When you go out of the building, you need to go to a particular place, an assembly area. So those also are part of your fire escape plans. A well-defined fire escape plan will ensure that you have zero loss of life. And mark all your fire escape routes with appropriate signs so that people know how to get out. Again, in fire escape plans, always review your fire escape plan every 6 months. That is important because your environment might have changed. And keep your fire escape route clutter-free. Globally, in the world, it has been seen wherever the fire escape routes have some clutter, some buildings they put in extra stuff because fire escape routes are places where nobody goes. And what happens when people start running out, they find this thing in the middle, they topple over it, and then you have a stampede and fire escape route is blocked. Have printed fire plans at key locations. Have that across your building. So anybody stuck in a situation knows how to get out of the building fast. That is important. So these are important things to keep in mind whenever you are developing fire escape plans for your institutions. The other thing now I'll have to talk about, which is lacking in India, is early detection. We have extinguisher and hoses, but the key to prevent loss of life and property damage is to have early detection. Early detection is key because you are 0 to 6 minutes. You want the fire to be detected as early as possible. But what is the scenario in India? 90% of buildings in India do not have an early detection system. The reason is very simple. Fire alarm systems are expensive to install. Systems might be cheap, you have conventional systems which are cheap, but to install them, there is a huge cost of civil work because they will dig up your whole building and then it might be like renewing the whole infrastructure from scratch. So that civil cost is too high. And then maintaining a wired system has always been a problematic across the world, and the cost of maintenance increases, and by the fourth year it becomes 50% of your purchase cost, and it damages your interior, whatever you have created. So most of the people avoid installing fire detection systems in the building, but that you must overcome, because without having a detection system, you do not have a good fire strategy at hand. So what are your options currently in fire detection? I'll just quickly go through that. Well, you have a conventional system and wired addressable system, most commonly found systems in India. And conventional system is the most quoted system in India. Reason is the cost. The cost of the system is cheap, but then still nobody ends up implementing it because A, it is ineffective. B, even to implement the system, the cost of civil cost is so high that you might have a 50,000 system, implementation cost would go to 3 lakhs or 4 lakh rupees. So the project cost again became to 4.5 lakh rupees. Even on a small premises, I'm just talking small premises, large premises might run into lakhs. So that systems are not installed. Wired addressable system, again the same problem. The system itself, very effective but very costly. The system itself is hugely costly, the most costliest system. And again, the civil cost is there. Now the new technology is coming up in the world, and few companies have started manufacturing, we are one of them, is wireless addressable system. Wireless addressable systems are cheaper system compared to wired addressable system, and they are the cheapest to implement in any scenario. And that is where the latest technology in fire alarm systems is going, and most of the companies are converting to wireless, and in a few years everything would be wireless. So what do you need if you wanted a good strategy for fire alarms in India? You need systems which are easy to install, easy to maintain, are standard compliant and fully integrated. Because India needs a system which is, because you have buildings which are pre-made. You do not want high cost of civil cost, and you want easy installation and easy maintenance cost. That is the reason 90% buildings did not have, but it is vital. So try to go for systems which are easy to install and easy to maintain. Again, this type of system, if you want, it would be a wireless fire alarm system. Thankfully, now a lot of companies have started manufacturing wireless addressable fire alarm systems, and in next few years, you would have mostly whole industry converted to this. Why? These are becoming so popular so fast because they are suitable for old and new building. It has the fastest installation and no downtime while installation. It has the lowest maintenance cost when it comes to fire alarm system. There is no civil work or damage to interior, and it has still all the benefits of a fully addressable system. So get a wireless fire alarm system, then you will have lesser cost and you will still satisfy all your detection needs. So now I'd like to summarize whatever we talked today. First, we have to understand this one basic principle. It is vital to protect educational premises. It cannot be taken that there are only students and we just have classrooms. There is no incidence of fire. We have too many windows. It doesn't happen like that. Educational institutions are where the youth, the future of the country is being molded, and they need to be protected. Lives need to be protected, and hence you should give enough importance to fire safety. So what do you need? You need to create and practice fire escape plans, installation of early detection systems like fire alarm systems, organized fire drills, have a fire drill every month, do a proper system audit and maintenance of fire safety equipment, maintain records of visitors in and out, because in a fire scenario, you want to know who was on the premise. Remove and reduce risk to people. Your whole strategy should be on one single fundamental point: prevention of loss of life. You do not want people to die. Maintain audit and training log every month so that your system or your plan remains current, and whenever there is a fire incident, you can be safe. With this, I would like to hand over the presentation to Ajit. I hope whatever information I have given to you today would help you create a detailed fire strategy and help you protect your institutions going in the future. Thank you very much for listening to us.
थैंक यू सर। सभी सम्माननीयों का एक बार फिर से धन्यवाद। सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स का धन्यवाद। आशा करता हूं कि आपको जो जानकारी दी गई है आपके लिए लाभदायक होगी। मेरे पास GTU एफिलेटेड जो कॉलेजेस हैं उनके लिए कुछ स्पेशल ऑफर्स हैं। जितने भी GTU एफिलेटेड कॉलेजेस हैं उनके लिए हमारे जो एनफायर एक्सपर्ट्स हैं वो फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट फायर रिस्क असेसमेंट करके देंगे। यानी कि आपके यहाँ पर फायर सेफ्टी को लेकर क्या क्या प्रोविज़न हो सकता है, कहाँ पर आपके थ्रेट्स हैं, वो सारा सर्वे हमारे एनफायर एक्सपर्ट्स द्वारा फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट किया जाएगा जितने भी GTU एफिलेटेड कॉलेज हैं उनके लिए। ये हमारे पास में एक ऑफ़र है जितने भी GTU एफिलेटेड कॉलेज हैं उनके लिए। और एक बार फिर से हम ऑनरेबल चांसलर साहब, रजिस्ट्रार साहब, पंचाल साहब, राजेश ठाकुर साहब, इन सब का धन्यवाद करते हैं। थैंक यू सर।
Thank you, Director Mr. Pushpendra Singh, sir, for presenting a fruitful content in front of our audience and at GTU platform. In a conclusion manner, we learned about different stages of fires, including 0 to 6 minute golden time, early detection of fire hazards, awareness and situation about fire incidents in India and global norms. Then you take us through fire risk in educational premises. That is the main objective of today's session. Most importantly, fire safety strategy, including team building during hazardous condition. Last but not the least, no construction is possible 100% fireproof, but we can eliminate the chances of catching fire. Thank you, sir, for making presentation at our GTU platform. I would like to thank our today's chief guest, Honorable VC, Vice Chancellor, sir, Dr. Naveen Sheth, sir, our respected Registrar, Dr. K.N. Khed, sir, our today's guest of honor, sir, for sparing the precious time and to grace the event. I would like to thank our guest, Dr. Sailesh Panchal, sir, Director, GTU Graduate School of Engineering and Technology, for sharing all the guidance to make the event successful. I would like to extend my thanks to Rajesh Thakur, sir, Estate Officer, GTU, Director, Nivid Electronics and team. And finally, would like to extend my thanks to all the participants for joining and hope this will be a great learning to all the participants. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
How to take a certificate?
For any affiliated institutes of GTU, if they want to avail the free service, site survey from the Nivid Electronics, they can write to the mail ID ap_mridul mridul@gtu.edu.in, and you can also write to the Nivid Electronics. The email ID is marketing@anfair.in. Okay. So thank you so much for all the participants. The session is concluded.